feel it? I feel it. We all feel it. That feeling when you have deadlines to meet, tasks to complete, and speeches to give. Stress is no fun for anyone, but it is often a part of everyday life. It can be frustrating for those who don't understand it, annoying for those who don't know why they're feeling it, and crippling to those who don't know how to manage it. I used extensive research on this topic and used scholarly, peer-reviewed articles to reference the speech. Hello, my name is Technical.Haga, and today I am going to discuss stress, what stress is, what causes it, and ways to treat and prevent it. Let's start off by defining what stress is. During my research, I found that stress comes in many forms and definitions. It's not just a black and white concept, and there are many gray areas involved. According to Prilanowski, stress is defined as an imbalance between risk and protective factors. When risks outweigh protective mechanisms, one's actual or perceived capacity to cope is diminished. Stress is then reflected in negative feelings, behaviors, and thoughts. When we think of stress, we typically think of it as purely negative concept, like the one I just gave. But according to Frank's, stress is like fat. Fat is good for you, yet too little or too much can have negative effects. So, stress can be both negative and positive. Some aspects of stress are variety, development and growth, and special high moments. Franks argues that without stress, we would live a bland life. Without stress, we couldn't grow and develop as humans. Some of the negative aspects are health problems and an inability to cope and therefore not be functioning at an optimal level. According to Franks, in the United States, 2/3 of visits to primary care physicians are stress-related. 112 million people take medications for stress, and stress is listed as a risk factor for many major health problems. There are also two types of psychological stressors being things that cause stress. The first one is stress you experience when you anticipate physical harm, such as bracing for a car accident. And the second one is one that you feel when you lose a loved one, lose a job, and stuff of that nature. Okay, there are some definitions of what stress is, but what causes stress? According to Franks, to better understand what causes stress, think of stress as engineering scientists do. Stress being the external force applied to an object, and stressors being the force applying the agent to an object. For our purposes, stressors will refer to anything in the environment that causes a stress response. So our environment is a major factor that causes stress. Also, according to Franks, our perception of our environments are another aspect that causes stress. The way an individual acts to certain stressors and the individual's perceptions, expectations, experiences, moods, and appraisals of those stressors. According to Pereira, sleep and rest play a big role in how much you feel stress. It is important for your body and mind to have leisure time for the psychobiological systems to stabilize to baseline levels. If you don't get proper sleep and rest, it causes factors that would otherwise not stress you out to then stress you out. We have gone over stress and some ways that stress is caused, but how do we cope with stress? According to Martirillo, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The effectiveness or functionality of a strategy depends on the individual's coping potential or their perceived ability to cope with the situation. The individual situation and the concrete social context in which the stressor occurs are all important aspects for choosing an appropriate response. Psychologists use the term coping processes to refer to strategies that people can use in certain events. These events have 3 dimensions shown in slide 2. Domain cause stress, cognitive, emotion, the self or social relationships, orientation toward the problem or away from the problem, and attention to different elements, consequences and solutions, causes, or the actual state. These strategies are not mutually exclusive, and often people use a combination of all three. According to Rabbeinu, there are two major process-oriented functions of coping strategies: problem-focused coping and emotion-focused coping. In problem-focused coping, the person gathers information about what to do and takes steps to change the environment or situation they are in. In emotion-focused coping, the person tries to regulate the emotions associated with the stress. These processes are like the three dimensions discussed before. Also, according to Rabbeinu, these ideas have been morphed into three strategies: change, individuals seek to solve the problems created by stress; acceptance, individual accepts the stressor as something they cannot change and decide to either adapt or adjust to the situation; or withdrawal. Individuals feel trapped in the stressful environment and think they cannot change the situation. Therefore, they withdraw from the situation or check out. Also, according to Rabbeinu, in addition to what presented above, there is a concept known as positive psychological capital, or PSYCAP. PSYCAP is a construct which includes beliefs about self-efficacy and self-confidence, and personal resources including resilience, hope, and optimism. It is a belief that one can have the confidence or self-efficacy to take challenging tasks and put forth the effort to accomplish said task. This includes positive attitude about succeeding, optimism; moving towards the goals in order to succeed, hope; and perseverance in the face of the problems, resilience. See slide 3 for the relations between PSYCAP and the three coping strategies. Understanding that stress starts with you and your perceptions of your environment can help reduce stress significantly. In conclusion, we have identified what stress is, the underlying causes of stress, and coping mechanisms to deal with stress. Stress can be hard to understand and to deal with, but with this technical presentation, I hope you have a better way of dealing with the stressors in your life. Thank you.